Alright guys, so today the brand new Planet Zoo Europe pack officially launches. In this video we're going to be doing a quick overview of the pack. I'm going to be briefly showing you each animal, point out some cool animations, showcase the babies and the enrichment items, and then share a little bit of my own thoughts. Same can be said for the new scenery pieces, and then I'll give my final thoughts on the pack as a whole. So let's go ahead and begin. First up is the front face of the pack, the Eurasian Lynx. Here's a look at the lynx using the new bark scratching board enrichment item. And here's a look at the adorable lynx kit. Also, this is just my own opinion, but I can't help but think of caracals when I look at the baby lynxes. You know, they just got those ears like a caracal. And here are all the lynx's enrichment items. When it comes to the Eurasian Lynx, the best way to describe it is simply another nice addition to the collection. I say this because it doesn't really offer anything new to Planet Zoo. What you can find in the Lynx can pretty much be found with most of the other cats in the game. And although this might sound like a negative, and maybe to some it is, I personally was expecting this. I wasn't expecting the Lynx to do much more than add a new beautifully modeled, smaller cat to the game, and technically that's exactly what we got, so I see no negatives in it. It's got a beautiful model and some cool new sounds added to it as well, but beyond that there's nothing really else explored here, which is fine because Planet Zoo's cats are already fleshed out, so as long as you like the cats in this game, then there's no reason to not enjoy the Lynx. Next up we have the European Fallow Deer. This is one of the new enrichment items being used by the deer. It's the Scarecrow Feeder enrichment. And just know that only the Alpine Ibex and the Fallow Deer share it. Here's a look at the Fallow Deer fawn. And here's all the enrichment items. So right off the bat, you'll notice the absolutely gorgeous model. I mean, it's practically photorealistic, which is a testament to Frontier's work. But a lot like the Lynx, the deer doesn't really offer anything more than a gorgeous model to the game. And a new shared enrichment item, which is perfectly fine. Everything the deer needs is already made in the past with similar animals, and so it mattered more about the model, which they absolutely delivered on, and even the new Scarecrow enrichment item was a nice touch. With that being said, it would have been cool if they had tried something else to differentiate it from the other similar ungulates in the game, something else to make it more special beyond the model, but again, just as it is now, it is one of the best in this pack. Onto the new exhibit animal, we have the Fire Salamander. You'll see it's got a new biome variation for the tank. I'm a big fan of this mossy, moist, temperate environment, and the new backgrounds add a lot to the feeling. Looking at the salamanders though, it has its own assortment of unique little animations atop that beautiful model, so yeah, it's honestly a really nice addition to the exhibit animals, and my personal favorite out of all of them. I just love salamanders, and so it gets extra points just for that, and really, why shouldn't it? Second to last is the Alpine Ibex. The Ibex has this new boulder mountain enrichment item where it slowly climbs its way from the bottom to the top. One of my favorite things about it is when the Ibex stops to lick the salt off the boulders. Now I don't know for sure, but I have a feeling this is a reference to a famous Ibex video on YouTube where a group of them climbed a literal, nearly vertical dam just to lick some salt. I could be wrong, but either way, I love it. And just know that the doll sheep can also use this too. Here is the Ibex kid. And here's all the enrichment items. All in all, I really like the Ibex. Of course, like the Lynx and the Fallow Deer, it's not a game changer, not at all, but it does bring a couple new things to the table, which in the end makes it feel like a better, newer doll sheep. The models are fantastic, the new mountain enrichment item is great, and the headbutting looks exactly like it does in the wild. They're pretty much perfect. It's also just nice to have a new mountain climbing ungulate. Lastly, we have the European Badger, the one I was most anticipating. So the Badger's big thing is the new burrow enrichment item. These new burrows can currently only be used by the Badger and Aardvark. It's pretty simple how it works. You place it down, the Badger walks into the deep dark hole and it makes its way down to the burrow. So you can't follow the badger in and stay attached to it. Unfortunately, you do get left outside. But that's why the burrow comes attached with a built-in camera. It gives you a really cool security camera style view into the burrow where you can watch them sleep. And only sleep, that's actually all they do in the burrow. But to be fair, that is sort of the main purpose of it. Outside of the burrow, we get a look at the badger pups. And here are the badger's enrichment items. So as I said before, these animals were the ones I was most anticipating. And to be completely honest, they didn't disappoint. Nor did they amaze me either. The badger feels somewhat unique to the game, with things like the burrows and their own unique sounds, and a couple small minor things like them standing up in front of the sprinkler or occasionally scratching at the ground. But I would be lying if I said I thought they were amazing. I feel as if there may be something missing from them. They're a very straightforward version of a badger. They have all the key stuff of running, walking, sleeping, drinking, and eating, along with some cool sounds, but I feel like they are missing some more social interactions. The only social interaction I've seen is when they're mating, when one comes up to sniff the other's ear. It's cute, but it may not be enough. Going in, I was personally hoping to see some play fighting or maybe some wrestling, and if not that, then at least some more interaction between them and the burrow. All they do is walk in, lay down, and sleep. It would be cool if they could possibly scratch around down there, maybe mess with the walls of the burrow, or, as I mentioned before, maybe do some roughhousing like they do in real life, in real burrows. Don't get me wrong though, I really do like Planet Zoo's European Badger because it still does a good job at being a badger. It's a very passable, enjoyable version of a badger. It's just very straightforward. There's nothing to dislike about it though. The model is good, the animations for it are good. It's just a bit more average compared to other new animals in the game than I had originally anticipated. They're just missing a little something extra, in my opinion. But do note that in the current early access version I'm playing on, the badger for some reason is not able to use the new bark scratching pad enrichment item. Whereas it says in the description of the pack, they and the lynx can both use it. But currently in my game, only the lynx can use it. I'm pretty certain this is a bug and is going to be fixed by the time the pack officially launches for everyone, which would be now, and so with that being said, there may be another really cool animation for the badgers that I just haven't seen yet, and that could potentially add a little something extra. Talking about the scenery now, the Planet Zoo Europe pack is, in my opinion, the very best pack to date when it comes to scenery. There is so much here to enjoy, so many clever, quite frankly mouth-watering scenery pieces here. I know, odd description, but it's true, and if you're not convinced about the animals, then this should be the other reason why you buy the pack. Just to be clear though, I am referring to all the new pieces and new Flexicolor additions, both from the pack and the update. Together they bring so much to the game, some of my personal favorites being the surface damage decals, the new planters, the new Flexicolor stone walls, and that's right, you heard me right, Flexicolor. Other new decals such as the ceiling fans, the flags, the new additions to the limestone and concrete sets, the new brick architecture, the olive trees, the cork oak trees, actual grapevines with grapes, and best of all, eggs. That's right, literal eggs. It's truly awesome what stuff they came up with in this pack. All these new scenery pieces and changes to past scenery sets with like new Flexicolor additions are great, but where you should go to really see all this come together is the new time scenario. Another part of the Europe pack alongside the animals in these new pieces, in the scenario you can find all these new pieces brought together to create multiple towns that range from Southern Europe to Central Europe to Northern Europe, giving you a good scope of what you could potentially create. And add to that some amazing new functioning food trucks and boats and ferries that act as both scenery pieces and as zoo entrances. It's easy to see why I think this is the best pack in terms of scenery, and I hope that after you guys experience it for yourselves, you will agree. So guys, that was my quick overview of the Europe pack. I would honestly say that Europe has proven to me, and hopefully others, that it can in fact work well as a DLC, despite not getting too much support from the community in the past couple years. With that being said though, it's not a perfect pack, and that's to be expected. I honestly feel that the pack hits quite an average mark with its animals compared to the 7 other packs that we already have. The animals themselves are perfectly fine, well done versions of their real life counterparts, they have beautiful models with beautiful sounds and great animations, even if most of those animations are just reused from past animals. It's just that none of them really go above and beyond to bring something new to the game. Most of them are just nice and quite average. Meanwhile, there have been instances in the past where some new packs brought an animal or two that introduced something completely new to the game. There's just not too much of that here, other than things like the burrow, which feels fresh for the game, and probably even the Fire Salamander, which is definitely fresh for the exhibit animals. It's just quite an average new selection of animals for the game, and that's perfectly fine. Not every pack has to go above and beyond with its animals. It's okay to have a chiller selection of animals like this every once in a while. All these new animals still fill in some sort of niche for the game, and they do it well. So where the animals may not be the best we've ever had, the Europe pack absolutely dominates with its scenery. You can probably already tell, but I really do love some of the things they chose to incorporate in this pack. I really like that they didn't have it focus on one particular region of Europe, but instead it covers the whole continent, giving the players such a big range of scenery to enjoy. As I mentioned earlier in the video, if the animals aren't a good enough reason to buy the pack, then the scenery should be. Get the pack for the scenery, and the animals too. To summarize it best, the Europe pack is another fine addition to the increasingly larger number of packs that we are reaching. It offers some great animals and some amazing scenery. But that is all I have to say about it for now, guys. I would definitely recommend getting this pack, and if you do, then let me know what you thought about it for yourself in the comments down below, and let me know if you are planning on getting it or not. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to show you all what else I've been working on for the Europe pack. But other than that, goodbye.